Hi guys, this is a review for the Batman prequel novel. Just finished reading it. I was really pumped about this thing. Too pumped, I would say. It took me a while. It's very cheap. It's a $10. It's 10 US bucks. So like even in a Canadian money, it's not expensive. And I understand why. It's only if you look at the size of the. I don't know if you can see. God damn it! Yeah, if you can see the size of the font, you see a page is not a lot, and it's only 125, 30 page ish. So I will say, unfortunately, I really didn't like it. I already knew a lot of what was inside from the interviews and making of the Batman, but I will just say, of course, if you know my channel, you know I love the movie. I think it's exquisite, very well, and I think I will start with the good things. The only good thing about this is the side, the new perspective and the new mythos from a really from the ground up Batman, like the first. But that's what I like the most about what Matt Reeves has given us. And of course, great soundtrack. Of course, I listened to the soundtrack for it's. I read it in a day. It's like max 2 hours. You easy read. Um, but all new exciting story inspired by the film. Yeah, so it starts when there are three acts. So there's Bruce when he's a child, briefly. Bruce when he is 17 years old, and most of all, Bruce when he is on his late 20s and becomes the proto Batman, like even before the movie, the novel. The last page of the novel is the beginning of the movie. So yeah, so it feels, so that's what I wanted to see. I wanted to see how the gaps were filled. I wanted to see how, uh, but how he became Batman, because there are so much versions of Batman, the mythos. Uh, of course, if you know my point of view, I don't like the Christopher Nolan trilogy at all. I but I liked his. I like Batman traveling the world. I like the first half hour of Batman Begins, and that's it. I like how Rachel, yeah, Rachel, when she was a good character. I like when she was really opening Bruce's eyes to the real corruption and the pain and what vengeance means and what revenge means and what fear and chaos, and she all these elements that are in the center of Bruce Wayne's psyche or Batman's psyche, depending how you treat Batman. And I really love that Bruce going, just jumping into a restaurant to talk to Falcone. Falcone is telling him again another truth. It's like you don't fucking know what you're talking about. You're full of shit. You're Bruce Wayne billionaire. You can could go 1,000 miles to meet someone who doesn't know your name, and it was so powerful. But unfortunately, again, the movie doesn't uh, re- continue on these themes. It goes more into the epic. We don't see the fights, fantastical bullshit ex machina that I don't like, and the villain that I don't like, and I don't like the League of Shadows. I think it's a lazy way to make Batman becomes Batman. For me, I'm sorry, I'm not talking about the novel, but I'll be coming quick to it. I just want to, because we're talking about the origins of Batman, and cinematically, the only time we saw the origin of Batman, we don't see it in the Keaton Batman, except when in Batman '89, when the famous scene when Kim Basinger and Kim Basinger, um, Vicky Vale and the journalist go into an exhibition chamber, and there's a statue from Japan. There's a statue of a lot of different countries, so you can tell, oh, Batman has traveled the world, really. But we don't. They never explain it. They never address it. But that was the only time. But nothing furthermore. So um, nothing further, I should say. But then in Batman Begins, they dedicated a lot of time. I don't know how they make it. I like very much until Ra's al Ghul appears. Until before all that is before the League of Shadows, I enjoyed. I think it's my one of my favorite pieces of Batman ever. I liked how rough it was. I like how real it was. And I even read, because I was surprised, because for me, almost 20 years later, because when Batman Begins got out, there was a Batman Begins novel that was it was inspired by the movie. It wasn't a prequel. It was the movie, but with a lot of added subtext, added scenes, added dialogue, added explanation, and everything. So I really enjoyed it. Um, and now it's the opposite. I really love the Batman the movie, but I this is trash again. But it's not offensively bad, but it doesn't. I mean, it's like, okay, so how I don't trying to stay on course here. I'm just, I like my Batman. So an original movie novel before the Batman. So if you told me, okay, the virtuoso go write a prequel novel of, I mean, in real font, in computer font, this must be 70, 60, 70 pages. Go write a novella about how Robert Pattinson's Batman became Batman. I will never come up with this. I think the only thing, because they don't, what was important? What did I want to see in this to read? I wanted to read how the I wanted to go in his psyche a lot more. No psyche here, none. Bruce is as flat as a fucking pancake. He, of course, he doesn't talk much. I don't mind that. He's a loner. He's a grungy. He's like Kurt Cobain style. We all know that. But nobody talks much. There's not a lot of dialogue. And I was talking to it with a friend and said, yeah, they should have. It's more dialogue of a graphic novel or a comic book. It's not really material for a novel, because there are not a lot of dialogue or, like I said, exploration of the psyche, or all these things that are so important for the character of Batman. So I want to know a lot more about Alfred. Don't explain here? They said, "Yep, he was in the British Secret Service." We already know that from the novel. That's it. Not anything more. Oh yeah. So the only thing I knew in the movie, they say Alfred tells him verbatim, "I could teach you to fight," but when he's in the hospital, he says, he's the one that taught Bruce how to fight." Um, and I said, "Well, okay, it can work. British military service guys know how to fight. They surely do." But Batman is supposed to be a lot more. Batman has compiled a lot, in my mind, a lot of different experiences because yes, if you have a very good teacher that I've seen the real stuff and uh, I've seen the world, you can learn a lot, but never as much as if you do it yourself. Then I got when he got older, we have a few pages, it's just a few pages of him going through, traveling the world, going always to the best schools to receive the best training and choosing like the best teachers for this and best martial arts for this. And okay, in this city, the best guy to teach forensics this, and the best guy to teach biology is this, and the best guy to teach this and that, blah, blah, blah. And but at the same time, he has of course a training area at Wayne Tower, and they create something called Bruce Jitsu. It's like Alfred calls it Bruce Jitsu because he spars with Bruce and he teach him how to fight. But by the end, by the even before he assembles a suit, um, Bruce is already has already surpassed Alfred in martial arts. So he's a better fighter already, like in 20 something years old. So, but they say a few times how much he works out, but it's never critical. It's never like, oh shit, he works out a lot and it's crazy and he do this and this and this. Say he's very gruff. He's very aggressive. But can I say aggressive? I won't. You know what? That's what this. That's the a thing that this book lacks so much. Batman, Bruce Wayne, and Batman are so apathetic about a lot of things. I mean, 75% of this book is Bruce Wayne working on his car and racing cars and doing illegal street racing. In the movie, the Batmobile isn't is in pieces. It's not even finished until the big chase. So if your car at the beginning of the movie is already perfect because he works on it a lot. And a lot of pages of him buying the new parts, trying the new parts, driving the car this, driving the car there, racing here, racing there. And there's a character, and there are really no other characters besides Dex. Is a woman that he encounters in car racing, and they are like not buddy buddy, but they cross paths, and it has no effect on the story, and no effect on the Batman, and no effect on the movie, and no effect ever. So it's worthless. And of course, the only other character of importance is the Riddler, Edward Nashton. So I liked almost his story. I felt he doesn't have a long story, but they just it's very cliche. It's very he's a weirdo, he's an outcast, and blah blah blah. But I liked the 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 like the binary code that he forms with Bruce Wayne. I like the one of the first scenes is when we see the ad that we see in the movie when young Bruce is with his when Thomas Wayne says he's running for mayor. and we saw the choir of the orphans, and we see young Riddler in the orphanage, and he talks more. They talk more about the orphanage and his life there, and it's really miserable. It's just he has a miserable life, and you can see. But again, he does nothing. He accomplishes nothing but, except spoilers, except burning the orphanage. He goes by he goes buy some gas, some gasoline, and he burns down the orphanage because, no, felt like it. Fuck you, because he hates it and because he hates his life. And but they say, oh yeah, he's always working on some puzzles, and he starts by, but he always he is really an outcast, a loner, lone wolf, and he really likes, like they say in the movie, puzzles are the answer to his miserable life of every day. So they're like his best friend, and I like the dichotomy because that's always what's more interesting in Batman mythos with his villains. It's the dichotomy, the dichotomy, because what is the Joker? The antithesis of Batman. What is the Riddler? The antithesis of the, not the antithesis, but the menace to Batman's mind and psyche and intelligence. What is Bane? Its violence and tactical side. His physical menace. Each villain has is a menace to a side of Bruce Wayne and Batman. That's why Batman has the best villains. So they say a little more, but I didn't let there was nothing surprising. There was nothing I read out that I went, oh my god, what a clever idea, or oh my god, I didn't know that, or oh my god, I never could have guessed. Because if you've seen the movie, you don't really need this. It's um, the only thing that I learned was that he traveled the world, but it's like 5 pages. He goes to the best school, he goes to the best martial arts, and he becomes a good fighter. It's like, yeah. One thing I have to say: if you're gonna begin the movie with him against like 10 thugs, you don't have to be a good fighter. You have to be a good street fighter, and you have to be fucking crazy. But again, they explain how he builds his suit. But anyway, I won't take much more of your time because it's not worth it. But is it worth $10 if you really want to see the end? Oh yeah, they say there are 8 pages of illustrations. Google the Batman images on Wikipedia, on not Wikipedia, on Google. Just Google the Batman images. You've seen them all. Nothing new here. Nothing new. It's a shame. And for like 4 mini posters and 4 from the movie. So you've seen it all already. So what's the point? But if you have $10, I don't know, that are dusty somewhere, buy it if you want. I wouldn't. If someone has told me the story, I wouldn't have bought. But anyway, it's for the collection, it's for the mythos, it's for my personal files, but it's really useless. Don't waste your time. It's really and I'll finish with my last point, but the odd thing is that neither on the cover, in either cover, do they say who wrote it, who's the writer. I don't know. Did they? I'm gonna check the first page. Do they even say who wrote it? Okay, by David Lumen. Well, David Lumen, you did a crappy job, or DC did a crappy job. I'm not blaming the writer. The writing is fine. I mean, it's again nothing interesting. But last point, I have I had this problem in the movie. It's one of my biggest problem with the movie, um, and my biggest problem with the prequel novel. There are no bats. Yes, when he goes in the Bat Cave, which is just never called the Bat Cave here. It's called his man cave, and he sees a bat once. And in the Batman, I said, well, he's 2 years in. They just decided not to um, tell this side of his psyche again. And I mean, I don't care because the movie explores a lot of other dimensions of Bruce and Batman, and it was sufficient for me. Uh, but it's becoming quite aggravating, and I've become quite irate to the fact that they don't ever talk about fear, the fear of bats, the um, he sees one bat. It's like yes, his parents' death is the thing that sparks the spark that creates the Batman. But bats are too. And even though I understand if you don't want to make it to revive the same cliche of oh he falls into a pit of bats and he's scared and blah blah blah, because all the movies and all the TV shows and everyone does it and blah blah, it's repetitive. We don't need that. Okay, but if you're making a prequel, like where does it take the mental of the bat for? Like the bat has no meaning because even when he builds his prototype suit, it's just bulletproof armor, nothing else. With a hoodie and the of course the famous now black around the eyes. But he sees a bat once. He's like, okay, got the message. And I don't know. I don't know why they don't explore. I mean, if you don't like to repeat the cliche, well, don't repeat it, but find some other way, some creative way to to uh, for it to mesh with the Batman mythos because it is still Batman. You can't make like you can make an omelet without eggs. You can't make a Batman without bats. So I mean, I in the movie it was we had better environment. We clearly saw the bats in his train station, bat cave, whatever you want to call it. But I wanted to see how Bruce felt about bats and I wanted to see. That's what I wanted to see from this prequel. Like it's a new, never seen before version of Batman. Feed me, feed me new, interesting stuff. And the only interesting thing I had in the movie. Matt Reeves got it in his head. He saw a new version with a lot of superb opportunities for the movies to come, from the TV series to come, from the things to come. But apart from what he has built in his mind and he has showed us in the movie, this prequel, the only thing I really love about this version of this prequel, and I'll finish with this, is that he he mainly, of course, he calls on Enterprise to for some military armor. Of course, he cannot build military armor with his bare hands, but apart from that, he builds everything. He builds his car, he builds his uh, clothes, he builds really everything, but mainly his car. But it's cool. It's like, where does the Batmobile comes from? Well, Bruce has been like working his ass off to build a badass car for like 15 years. So yeah, it's a it's a good car. So I just don't know why they focused so much about it. Like 60-70% of the novel is about the car and the races. So, and we love a good Batman race, a good Batman uh, chase scene in every movie, but it's just a scene. It's not a chapter or an act or a big uh, um, plot point. It's like, yeah, the Batmobile is always cool, but it's the bat. What's important is Batman and Bruce, not the Batmobile. So I was reading like, hey, they're putting them a lot of depth into this car, and yeah. So that's it. That's about my review. Um, Again, for $10, if you really really like the movie, maybe read it if you don't have anything else to do. I don't recommend it. Um, you already know everything if you see this. So yeah, so that's a quick little review. And 2 years till Batman 2. 2 years, guys. All right. See you later. Bye.